Found in the trash. It was a cold, dark evening in the city of New Terra. The sky was full of smoke, and broken buildings stood like dead giants. After the Great Alien War, the world was not the same. Streets were empty. People were afraid to go out. The government had one rule: report any alien on sight. No exceptions, but John never followed rules blindly. John was a quiet man in his 40s. He worked as a mechanic in the old part of the city. He had no family, no friends, just machines and silence. Every night he walked home through the city's junkyard. It was faster and no one bothered him there. That night, as he walked past a pile of broken metal and plastic, he heard something. Clink. A soft, strange sound. John stopped. He listened. Another sound came, like metal moving, slowly. He looked around. No one was there. Curious, he walked to the pile. Rusty wires, smashed robot parts, and broken furniture covered the ground. Then he saw a small hand, blue, thin, and shaking, under some trash. John's eyes widened. What the hell? He slowly pulled the trash away. There, lying in the garbage, was a girl, maybe 15 or 16 years old. Her skin was light blue, glowing slightly under the moonlight. Her hair was silver, messy, and full of dirt. Her eyes were half open, glowing faintly with golden color. She looked scared, weak, almost dying. Please, Dot, don't hurt me, she whispered. John froze. His heart beat faster. This was an alien. A young one, maybe left behind after the war, maybe a spy, maybe dangerous. He should call the patrol, but something stopped him. Maybe it was the way she looked at him, not with hate, but with fear. Like a lost child, John bent down. He took off his jacket and gently wrapped it around her. Can you walk? He asked. The girl shook her head slowly. She was too weak. John sighed. He looked at the sky. A drone passed above. He hid quickly behind a large bin, holding her close. The drone flew away. He had a choice. Leave her. Or take her. John cursed it under his breath. Damn it. He picked her up in his arms. She was light, like holding a feather. She didn't resist. She just closed her eyes, trusting him. He moved fast through the back alleys. Every sound made his heart jump. If the patrol found him, they'd kill him. No questions. But somehow, he didn't care. At last, he reached his old workshop. The front looked like a junk shop, but the real place was underground. He pressed a code on the wall, and a hidden door opened. Inside. Everything was quiet. Machines blinked softly in the dark. Tools, wires, screens. This was his world. He laid the girl on a soft chair and brought a blanket. She was cold. Her skin was cracked in places, small sparks coming out. I need to fix you up, he muttered. He didn't know much about alien biology, but he tried his best. He cleaned her wounds, gave her water, and used a small energy tool to fix the sparks. Hours passed. Finally, the girl opened her eyes again. She looked at him. Why help me? She asked slowly. John didn't answer right away. He looked at her for a long moment. Because no one else would, he said simply. She gave a small, tired smile. My name is Zura. John nodded. I'm John. And from that moment, something changed. Later that night, John couldn't sleep. He sat on the floor, looking at Zura, who was now resting peacefully. Her face looked calm, almost human. He wondered what her story was. Why was she in the trash? Was she alone? Was someone looking for her? Suddenly her body glowed again. A soft light came from her skin. Strange symbols appeared on her arms, like ancient writing. John had never seen anything like it. What are you? He whispered. You are moved in her sleep, as if hearing him. The lights faded. John didn't know what was coming, but deep inside he felt it. His life would never be the same again. She's not just a teen. John woke up in the middle of the night to a strange sound, humming, soft, low, and not human. He sat up quickly, heart pounding. The sound was coming from the far corner of his workshop, where he had made a small bed for Zura. She was standing, eyes closed, arms lifted slightly. Her body was glowing again, but this time brighter than before. Strange symbols lit up across her skin. They moved slowly, like they were alive. The air around her felt warmer, charged with energy. John didn't move. He just watched, then, suddenly, Zura's eyes opened. The light vanished. She dropped to her knees, breathing heavily. What dot was that? John asked, stepping closer. Zura looked at him, her golden eyes wide. It's inside me. I can't control it yet. John helped her up and sat her down. Inside you? What do you mean? Zura looked down at her glowing hand, then back at him. You think I'm just some lost alien girl? But I'm not. The next morning, John gave her a hot drink and a warm blanket. He sat across from her, ready for answers. Zura began to speak slowly. I was created, not born. My people built me with a purpose. Like a robot? John asked. Zura shook her head. No, I have feelings, I dream, I cry, but I was designed for something bigger, something dangerous. She looked up at him. I was meant to carry a code, a power, something hidden. Deep inside me. Even I don't know what it is. John stared at her, his hands tightened around his mug. Why would they put that in a child? Zura smiled sadly. Because no one would expect a child. In the days that followed, Zura began learning fast. Very fast. She watched John fix machines, listened to his stories, and practiced English with old books. Her mind was like a sponge. She picked up words, fixed tools with ease, and even improved one of John's old drones, making it fly smoother than ever before. You're smarter than most humans I know, John joked. I was programmed to adapt, Zura replied, almost like a robot. But sometimes, when she laughed or cried, John could see it. She wasn't just some program. She was alive, and she was lonely. One night, Zura sat near a broken mirror, touching her blue face. Do I look scary to humans? She asked softly. John sat beside her. You look like someone trying to survive. That's never scary. She gave him a small smile. You're the first human who's been kind to me. You're the first alien who didn't try to kill me, John replied with a smirk. They both laughed. For the first time in years, John felt something like peace, but peace doesn't last long in a broken world. That same night, John's old radar system picked up a signal. A government drone flying nearby. Zur stood up quickly. They're looking for me. I can feel it. John checked the screens. It's just a routine patrol. Zura shook her head. No, they've found something, a trace of the code inside me. John frowned. Then we hide, stay underground. They won't find us here. Zura stepped back. You don't understand. The code inside me is alive. It calls out when I lose control. That glow you saw, it sends out a signal. To who? Zura hesitated. Not just your government. My people too. She then reached into a small bag she carried, pulling out a piece of paper. She unfolded it carefully. It showed a strange symbol, a circle of stars with a line through the center. This is the mark of Rilkar, an ancient rebel group from my planet. My creators wanted to destroy them, but I think they left me a choice. What kind of choice? John asked. To destroy Earth or to save it? John's face went cold. That's not a choice. That's a nightmare. Zura's voice trembled. That's why I ran. I didn't want to become a weapon. I wanted to be ... something more. Outside, thunder cracked in the sky. The storm was coming. Inside, John looked at the alien teen sitting in front of him, blue-skinned. Strange, powerful, and scared. She was not just a teen, she was a ticking time bomb, with a heart. We'll figure this out, John said finally. Together, Zura looked at him. Even if I'm dangerous? Especially then. The secret she holds, John? Found Zura staring at the stars. She was standing on the roof of the workshop, wrapped in a blanket, silent. The city below was dark, broken, quiet. Only the soft hum of power lines and distant thunder filled the air. You'll catch a cold, John said, walking up behind her. Zura didn't move. You ever think about the sky? She asked. John glanced up. The clouds had cleared. A few stars were visible, peeking through the smoke. Not much reason to look up anymore. Zura's voice was soft. In my world, we used to name stars. My mother, she gave me the name of one, Zura. It means the silent one who carries light. John paused. You said you were created. I was, but someone still raised me. Someone still held me like a child. She turned to look at him, and then they sent me here to finish something I didn't ask for. Back inside the workshop, John sat at his desk watching Zura draw on the wall with a chalk pen. She didn't draw people or animals' dots, she drew symbols, circles, lines, triangles that pulsed like they were alive. That's alien language, isn't it? He asked. Zura nodded. It's not just language, it's code. Locked inside my brain, I dream about it. Every night. John leaned closer. What does it mean? Zura hesitated, then she whispered, It means I'm the key to something buried. Deep below Earth, something built long ago, something powerful. John sat back, stunned. What kind of something? Zura looked at him with sad eyes. A weapon or a message? I don't know yet, but it's waking up because I'm here. Later that night, John searched through old files on his dusty computer. Reports from the war. Rumors about alien tech buried under the earth. He found one story, quickly deleted by the government, about a sleeping alien core beneath Sector 7. It matched Zura's symbols. They've known about it, John muttered, for years. Zura looked at the screen. It's not just tech, it's alive. A living machine. My people feared it. That's why they hid the key inside a child. Inside me, they thought no one would ever dare to unlock it. But if the wrong people do, it could destroy everything, Zura finished. John's face hardened. And now the government is tracking you, because they know you're the key. Zura nodded. And my people, they want me back too. To protect you? No, she whispered. To erase me. The next morning, the power in the workshop cut out. The lights blinked. The machine stopped humming. John grabbed his scanner. A strange energy wave had just passed through the city. Strong, unnatural. Zura's hands began to glow again. It's starting, she said. The core is waking up. Suddenly, the screen on the wall flashed. A message appeared. Unit 7 energy spike detected. Sector Mark, alien biological signature active. Response team inbound. John's stomach dropped. They're coming. Zura looked calm. I have to run. John grabbed her arm. Not alone. They packed quickly. John opened an old hatch under the workshop, a secret tunnel that led to the old subway system. Zura stopped for a moment and picked up a small metal cube from the work table. It pulsed when she touched it. What's that? John asked. Memory lock. It holds the final code. I've been dreaming about it, but I haven't unlocked it yet. John looked at her, confused. So you don't know what happens if it opens? Zura looked at the cube. No, but the moment I fall into the wrong hands, someone will try? In the dark tunnels, John and Zura walked quietly, the sound of boots and drones echoing far behind them. Zura held the cube close to her chest. I'm scared, she whispered. Me too, John replied. Why are you still with me? John looked at her seriously. Because I think you're more than just a key. I think you're a person. And people deserve to choose who they become. Zura looked away, her eyes watery. No one's ever said that to me. They walked deeper into the shadows, but above ground. Satellites were locking onto her signal dot, and far away in deep space, a ship had changed course. Truth of her heart, Zura had never touched a tree before. Now, she stood under one, tall, quiet, old, in the middle of an abandoned park just outside the city ruins. Her blue fingers brushed the rough bark slowly, like it was made of gold. This is real, she said softly. John sat on a broken bench nearby, watching her. It's just a tree, he said with a small smile. Zura turned. No, it's alive. Growing, not built. Not programmed. On my planet, nothing grows anymore. Not like this. She looked up through the branches at the flickering sky. This world still has hope. For the past 2 days, they had been hiding in the old forest zone, a forgotten place on the edge of the dead city. The patrols didn't come here. Too much nature. Too much wildness. Zura was quiet most of the time. But something in her had changed. She didn't glow randomly anymore. Her eyes held questions. Big ones, heavy ones. That night, as the wind whispered. Through the trees, Zura sat close to the fire and finally spoke. Do you believe someone like me could feel love? John looked at her. What do you mean someone like you? I mean something built, designed, sent to carry a code that could destroy your whole planet. You're not a machine. Zura, she looked down at her hands. But I was made with a purpose, a mission. I wasn't meant to have feelings, and yet... She looked at him. Her voice dropped to a whisper. I think I do. Silence. The fire cracked softly. An owl hooted in the dark. You don't have to say anything, Zura said quickly. I know I'm not human. I know it's strange. John rubbed his face, with his hand thinking, Zura, you're young. You've seen terrible things. You're confused. And I care about you, deeply. But this is real to me, she interrupted. Her eyes shimmered with gold light. When you picked me up from that trash heap, when you stayed up to fix my wounds, when you gave me your jacket even though you were cold, that wasn't code, that wasn't programming, that was kindness. And it changed something inside me, she touched her chest. It's like the code woke up, but not as a weapon, as a feeling. John didn't know what to say. He'd lost his family in the war. Lost everything. He had built walls around his heart for years, but now, sitting in front of this alien girl, part weapon, part child, part mystery, those walls were cracking. Zura, listen, he said gently. Feelings are not wrong, but they're heavy and confusing, especially in times like this. I know, she said. I just needed you to know. The next morning, everything changed. A deep rumble shook the ground. Birds flew from the trees. The fire went out with a gust of wind. Zura stood up, eyes wide. They found us. John grabbed his gear and the memory cube. The code was still locked, but the symbols had started glowing by themselves. Move, we need to get to the bunker near the valley, John said. Zura hesitated. They're not just coming for me anymore. What do you mean? She looked at him. They're coming for you too. Because they know I care. As they ran through the woods, energy blasts lit up the sky behind them. Zura's body began to glow again, but not with fear, with strength. She turned once, held out her hand, and a wave of energy bent the air, throwing a drone out of the sky like a leaf in the wind. John stared. What was that? I'm done running, she said. If they want the truth, I'll give it too. John ran beside her. What truth? Zura's voice was steady now. That the code inside me isn't for destruction. It's for choice. She looked at him, eyes glowing brighter than ever. And I choose life. The last choice. The sky was bleeding. Thick red clouds moved like waves, and thunder cracked with a deep, unnatural growl. In the distance, a black triangle-shaped ship hovered silently above the city ruins. The alien mothership had arrived. But Zura wasn't looking at the sky. She was standing in front of a cracked mirror inside a burned-out bunker, staring at her reflection. For the first time, she saw herself clearly, not as a girl, not as a soldier, not even as an alien. I look like someone who has to decide the end of the world, she whispered. Behind her, John tightened the straps on his gear and turned off the last working drone. You don't have to carry it alone, he said. Zura didn't look away from the mirror. Yes, I do. Outside, the ground shook as Earth's defense systems locked onto the alien ship. A voice echoed from a cracked speaker on the bunker wall. All units prepare for potential engagement. Unauthorized alien tech detected. Terminate if necessary. John slammed his fist against the speaker. They don't even want to understand. Just destroy. Zura stepped away from the mirror, holding the memory cube in both hands. The symbols on her arms had now fully awakened, glowing softly like starlight. They fear me, and they should. I'm not a weapon. But I can be. Then don't be, John said. But if I'm not, they'll destroy us? Zura looked into his eyes. Do I let them kill me to prove I'm not dangerous? Or do I fight and become what they expect? John's voice was calm, firm. You choose who you are, no one else. Suddenly, the ground exploded nearby. Light and heat filled the sky. The bunker shook violently. Zura and John fell to the ground. The memory cube rolled out of her hands. Through the smoke, armored soldiers entered. Humans, not aliens, guns raised. Target located, stand down. John stepped in front of Zura without hesitation. She's not the enemy. The commander. barked, "Step aside, citizen. She's a child." John shouted, but Zura rose slowly. Her skin shimmered. The air around her pulsed like electricity. The soldiers froze. "You want the truth?" Zura said, her voice steady and strange, like it came from two people at once. "Here it is." She picked up the memory cube. It floated above her palm. It cracked open. A bright column of light shot into the sky. Everything stopped. Even time itself felt like it held its breath. Images flashed in the beam. War. Stars, planets burning, alien scientists, human cities, Zura floating in a tank as a baby. And then choice, the code wasn't a weapon. It was a message, a signal to both worlds. Peace is possible. But only if both sides stopped choosing fear. The soldiers lowered their weapons. Some fell to their knees, eyes wide. Far above, the alien mothership stopped moving. Lights across it turned. From red to white, Zura floated gently to the ground, eyes glowing with quiet fire. She looked at John. "I made my choice." He nodded. "So did I." But just as the silence settled, another ship entered Earth's orbit, larger, older, and not part of Zura's people. A deep, alien voice echoed across the sky. "The girl has unlocked the signal. Now she belongs to us." Zura looked up slowly. "No, not them. They were never part of the plan." John grabbed her hand. "Then what now?" Zura took a deep breath. "Now, we fight for the future we just saved. Goodbye or forever." Zura stood alone in the center of a silent battlefield. Ash floated in the air like snow. The trees were gone, the bunkers burned quietly. The mothership, now empty and still, hovered like a shadow in the sky, and across from her, in the dust, lay John, unconscious, breathing, but broken, her glowing eyes filled with tears. "You stayed until the end," she whispered. "Even when I wasn't sure who I was." She knelt beside him, brushing dirt from his face. "You didn't see a weapon, you saw me." Behind her, the sky opened. A golden portal appeared, humming with deep, ancient energy. Zura's people had sent it, not for war, not for destruction, but for her return. A path home. And behind that, the other ship still hovered, silent, waiting, the dark one, the one that didn't offer peace, only control. "Come with us," a cold voice said in her mind. "You belong to the code. You are not human, you are not theirs." Zura stood. She looked at the sky, then at the man who had once picked her from a trash heap. Earlier that day, before the final blast, they had sat on the roof of the bunker. Just once more, Zura had asked, "What happens when this is all over?" John had replied, "You get to choose what over means." She remembered that now. It felt like a memory from another lifetime. Zura walked toward the portal. Each step felt heavier. The cube floated beside her. Now dark, the code complete. It had served its purpose. She could feel the connection to the stars pulling her in, calling her home. But what was home? The lab where she was built? The cold halls of her people's ship? Or the greasy smell of John's workshop? The old radio playing Earth music? The way he said her name like it mattered? Zura stopped walking. The sky pulsed. The dark ship spoke again. "You are not built for love. You are built for control." Zura looked up, eyes glowing. "And then I was built wrong." She turned to the portal, raised her hand, and closed it. The golden light vanished. That moment, the dark ship reacted. Engines whirred, lights flared red, but Zura was already in the air, her body lit up like a star, symbols glowing across her arms and face. She didn't run this time. She didn't hide. She faced the threat and burned through it. The battle was short. Zura unleashed everything, not as a weapon, but as a will. The dark ship collapsed inward like a dying sun. Then there was silence. Only wind and fire and the sound of John waking up. "Did we win?" He groaned. Zura knelt beside him, smiling through tears. "We chose?" Hours passed. Rescue teams arrived, human and alien. Working together now, Zura stood at the edge of a landing platform, a small bag over her shoulder. John stood beside her. "They want me to help rebuild my world," she said. "They should," John replied. "But what if I don't come back?" John smiled, tired but proud. "Then you gave us enough to build something here." Zura reached out and took his hand. I'll try to come back. Don't try, he said. And just remember who you are? She nodded. Zura, the silent one who carries light. He nodded, and the loud one who taught an old man to believe again. She boarded the ship. It lifted off quietly. John watched as the blue light of its engine vanished into the sky. He stood alone. For a long while, then, from his coat pocket, he pulled out something small, a silver metal button from Zura's old jacket. He held it tightly and smiled.